For most people, emergency preparedness is not a major part of their life, except when they get behind the wheel of a car. When you get behind the wheel of a car, it becomes much more common to be preparedness-minded. Even buckling up a seatbelt is a form of a prep. You don't know that you're definitely going to be in a car crash, but if that car crash happens, having prepared for it, you'll make the experience that much less awful than it would have been otherwise. So it's a little bit ironic that I found out recently that there are some really basic safety pieces of equipment that are being removed from modern vehicles. In this video, we're going to talk about that and some of the piece of equipment that I've been putting back into my vehicle to try to make it as safe and as prepared as it can be. Hey everybody, this is Praxis. If your luck is anything like mine, then you've probably noticed that when you run into problems in life, it's quite frequently not when you're comfortably sitting at home someday, it's when you're on the road somewhere. And that's what I want to talk about in this video, is basic preps that I keep with me in the vehicle to try to make it so that when the inevitable bumps in the road of life come our way, they stay as minor inconveniences and don't turn into major disasters. One of the big things I think a lot of people think of when they think of, issues they might run into when they're on the road is a flat tire.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and this may not actually be as bad as I was thinking. The entire top of the tire is fine. It's actually only the bottom that's flat.
In fact, just a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, my rear passenger side tire got a nail in the side of it, and I was having to deal with that situation. What are some of the things you want to have if you run into like a flat tire situation? Well, one thing that I think a lot of people presume is in their vehicle is a spare tire. And that was the case for the longest time, that you bought a vehicle, it had a spare tire in it. This vehicle and many other modern vehicles don't have spare tires. I don't know whether manufacturers are trying to just save money. Well, I'm sure they're always trying to do that. Or maybe they just legitimately don't think that people have the skill set to change a tire anymore, so why should we put a spare tire in if nobody knows how to use them anyway? Pretty much what they got in this vehicle is there's an SOS button in the front, or you can use your cell phone to call for help. What they do provide you is they do provide you with a jack, and they provide you with a can of Fix-A-Flat with like a compressor attached to it. So you can kind of flood the tire with Fix-A-Flat goo and reinflate it and kind of get yourself on your way. But if you know anything about that kind of stuff, you know that's not really a permanent solution. And you're setting yourself up for more expenses later if you solve problems that way. So I like to kind of solve them in the correct way, but doing it properly the first time. So if you get a flat tire, first thing you want to do is to be able to patch the thing up. To be able to use little plugs for patching puncture holes in tires, I think a lot of people think that it's really difficult. I'm not going to describe the entire process right here, but it's like 3 steps. Google it right now, how to use a tire plug kit, and you'll be shocked at how simple it is. But once you get the tire plug, you have to fill that tire back up with air, and I would not want to use the Fix-A-Flat compressor combo thing that's in here. So I've got a compressor in my car, and I've got 2 of them here right now that I want to talk about. The first one, this is the one that has been in my car for the longest time. This is made by Eaton Wolf, and this has been, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years. I'm not sure how many years I've had this, but I've had it for a long time. I've filled up an awful lot of tires with this, be it car tires, bike tires, wheelbarrow tires, and this has been really reliable. It can fill up a lot of tires. I think I did like 8 or 10 car tires with this before it ran out of juice at one point. Really, really reliable. One thing that is not, though, in terms of a car, is it's not super small. Now, yeah, it's way smaller than like a shop compressor that's got like, wheels on the back, you gotta wheel the thing around. So, I mean, it's smaller than that, but in terms of, there's only so many cubic feet of space in a vehicle, and you want to try to minimize, how much space your gear takes up. So while this is great, and I keep this in my house and I use this most of the time, what I take with me now is this. And this is made by the same company, made by Eaton Wolf. This is just a smaller form factor. And I've had this for about 4 months. I was using this for dealing with that whole tire problem. They're super, super easy to use. Just on, off, you set the tire pressure, screw the thing on, hit go, and it fills it up to whatever you told it to fill it up to. And that's the end of the story. It doesn't overcomplicate the entire thing. It also has some kind of like there's a flashlight on it. I never use a flashlight. I use the tire compressor for compressing air into tires. But I love this one because it is, it's so small. And again, I've only been using this for 4 months. I've had this other one for a couple of years. Very reliable. I'm hoping and inferring the reliability of the company transfers into this. But I really love the form factor because it just goes right into this little caddy that I have in here with like some tie-down straps, and if I buy lumber, I've got an automatic clamp that I can put on the end of the lumber, so I got a flag on there. So I've just got a lot of like kind of car safety stuff in here. Here's another safety device I've used on more than one occasion, and this is a car jump starter. It's also got that really small form factor, which I love, and I keep this thing constantly plugged into this USB jack so that if I ever need to jump start the car, I have this on me. Now, most of the time when I'm starting the car, it's in the winter time. I haven't run the car in a few days and the battery's gotten a little bit low. And I've got other car jump starters here at my house that I would normally use for that. But the real reason I have this in the vehicle is if I'm ever off somewhere and you can't get the car started. That's a really frustrating feeling, and it's nice to have at least one other option for trying to get things going. Other pieces of car safety equipment that I carry with me on 24/7, 365 whenever I'm traveling are also paper maps. Now, most of the time I'm using a GPS. I almost never use paper maps anymore. I used to go everywhere, all over New England. I'd have like paper maps on my lap, and I'd be navigating through a new city. I used to do film productions, so we're always going to a different place. I was always having to find different addresses. So I'm familiar with that, but GPS is just much easier. It's much safer than having maps on your lap, looking back and forth as you're trying to navigate through an area. But GPS can have all sorts of problems. It's a much more complicated system than just a pile of paper with some ink on it. And because of that, there are more things that can go wrong. The GPS unit could have like a battery or a power issue, or some other kind of a technical issue. You could have like a software glitch or something like that, or the network itself could be experiencing issues based on like electromagnetic pulse or coronal mass ejection, or some kind of like wartime measures where the signals are getting scrambled. Having some paper maps and the understanding of like what a paper map means and how you translate a two-dimensional surface onto a we live on like a three-dimensional surface here. Just being trained in how to visualize and use paper maps, I think, makes you better at navigating using GPS as well. But definitely having paper maps, I think, is really important. This is the entire United States with just kind of highway level maps. It doesn't really get into an enormous amount of detail. This is basically get me back to a highway and I can get myself home with minimal like back roads abilities. You can't do a lot of back roads. For the region that I live in, I have like all the back road maps for all the towns in the part of the state in which I'm living in. But it's kind of impractical to do that for the entire country. I think you'd have a stack that big. And again, getting back to form factors, there's something to be said for saving space. So you want to keep things as compact as you can. And most of the time, GPS works just fine. In terms of GPS programs that I use two of them primarily. One is called Organic Maps, and that is a free software program that uses open source mapping data. And that works very well, but most of the time what I use is Google Maps, and the reason for that is that it's just very easy for me to like save locations on there on my desktop computer at home, and kind of prepare for the day by presetting whatever destination I may have to go to the next day. And what's nice about Google Maps is that Organic Maps, you can download all the maps and they're just on your phone. You don't need an internet connection. Normally, the way most people use Google Maps is that they do need an internet connection, but that's not necessarily the case. You can offline maps onto your phone. You go up into your little icon for yourself, and there's like a drop-down menu, from the Google Maps software, and down in that menu you'll see offline maps, and you can download maps for different areas that that you're going to be in. When we recently traveled down to Uruguay, I downloaded the entire southern coast of Uruguay to Google Maps, and even kind of going up the east coast a little bit, because I knew I was going to be kind of in those areas. So you're downloading kind of rectangular chunks of spaces that you may be traveling in. So being able to fix a flat tire, being able to navigate and get yourself back home are important. And beyond that, just basic preparedness, like having a EDC bag with you. Now, this is a lot smaller than my normal EDC bag. I've been kind of playing with this one a little bit, actually, since our Uruguay trip. I bought this because it's sort of like a satchel. You can bring it around to the front of yourself, whereas my other one's a backpack. And it just makes it easy to kind of go in and get cash or whatever I wanted to get out of the front. If I was navigating through like a crowded urban environment. You can kind of keep everything right in the front instead of less secure in your back. So I've been playing with this, and it's not nearly as in-depth as my larger EDC pack, but I've got some core essentials, and it's important to have core essentials with you. Just like a snack, especially if you get kids with you, to be able to have like some granola bars. I've got that in here. We've got water. We got some basic medical stuff in here in terms of being able to treat a minor injury. Several years ago, I was on a walk with my boy, and I did not bring my EDC pack, and I ended up scraping up a bunch of my shin, and we had to walk back about a mile to get back to the car. And by the time we got back there, I had not been able to treat this right away, so it ended up getting infected, and I had to take antibiotics to keep the infection from spreading. Had I been able to have my basic medical kit with me, I could have cleaned the thing off. I could have put some bacitracin on it, and I'm almost 100% certain that that never would have developed into an infection. Again, there's always bumps in the road of life. Whether you're on a literal road, going down the highway, or metaphorically, just going through your life, there's always going to be those bumps. And preps aren't about preventing those bumps in life. You're going to have these minor inconveniences that are always going to come up in life. And the goal of preps is to keep them as minor inconveniences and prevent them from becoming gigantic, catastrophic catastrophes. And that's really the best that any of us can do. Nobody can guarantee nothing bad's ever going to happen to you, but it's all in how you deal with it. And if you have the right preps around you, whether it's just an EDC pack or having maps to help you to get home if you find yourself being lost, or having the ability to repump a tire that you burst on the side of the road, it can make your day so much better. I mean, you're always going to have that hassle, but keep it as a minor hassle so it doesn't turn into a major catastrophic catastrophe. That's it. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for new videos all the time. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can do so either through Patreon or PayPal.